Sexual dysfunction has become a common cancer in our culture today, to the point that no area of our lives is exempt or immune. The number of people struggling with sexual brokenness in some form continues to increase for a number of reasons. The pervasiveness and availability of pornography, the sexually saturated and irresponsible media, entertainment, and advertising industries, to name a couple. These factors have led to a totally permissive society where there's little concept of propriety or morality. Our entire culture is being sexually abused by this onslaught, and much of this unhealthy and unscriptural behavior is almost as prevalent among the Christian community as it is in the society at large. Among believers, there are large numbers of men and women, often key leaders or potential leaders, who because of past experiences or sinful choices engage in unholy relationships or compulsively use sexual behavior as an escape or as a medication to help them cope with life. Many of these people desperately long to be free from this bondage, and they really want to live in sexual integrity. They want life, living in freedom every day. This DVD will introduce you to Life Ministries International, a support group ministry working through your local church or some other sponsoring organization. Life Ministries' program is Christ-centered and relationally oriented, providing resources, training materials, and expertise. The primary resources are the Life Guides, a family of workbooks based on a common set of 7 biblically sound and therapeutically based principles. All life groups incorporate spiritual discipline, small group accountability, and ongoing prayer and support for those who are struggling with sexual brokenness in some form. Life groups are support groups, not therapy groups. We highly value confidentiality with an absolute commitment to a safe environment for open and honest communication and open and honest acceptance, where members are embraced in an attitude of forgiveness and love by other strugglers. This critical ongoing support comes from the networking together of lives in real relationships, open, transparent, and accountable with other strugglers. All of this is guiding the group members toward Christ-centered sexuality under the conviction that only in the freedom and grace of Jesus Christ can our true sexual identity be found. Here is what some life group participants have to say.
When you're in a marriage and there's sexual addiction, there's the intensity of the pain, but you don't know if it's going to end.
I was introduced to pornography probably as a preteen.
Masturbation became a good friend of mine so that I could just get the high and not have to deal with the pain that I was going through.
Homosexuality was my drug of choice. We have discovered probably in the last couple of years that this really is indeed an epidemic.
The Holy Spirit said pretty clearly, it's time to come home. Enough is enough.
I couldn't just be the little girl that I wanted to be and play and be happy and do all the things and feel freedom and security. But I really felt like I needed to perform to get their attention, and which I did, and did very well. And I had been in church all my life. My father was a deacon in our church, and I was actually the president of my youth group at church as well. But I never had heard of a deep relationship with Jesus Christ. I was trying to gain the approval of this man who was in my life, and when he would abuse me and touch me in places that it wasn't supposed to, and then afterwards just totally reject me. So I was trying so hard to get somebody's attention and somebody's approval that I would do whatever it took to try to get that.
I spent 20 years living the gay life, embracing the gay life. I had multiple partners. I was involved in as close to monogamous relationships as I would ever consider. being involved with someone, being committed to someone, and then having multiple partners on the side. One of my forms of acting out was anonymous sex with anyone that I could find or showed an interest in me. Although I knew God and knew that I was saved, I had twisted him and perverted him into something that he wasn't, and really had turned him into something that worked for me and that was comfortable for me, even though I knew there were aspects of my lifestyle that were wrong.
There's a lot of issues that being married to a sex addict brings up. There's a lot of pain and a lot of emotion that really is only understood by women who are walking through the same thing. Probably in any addiction, codependency is a big issue. I think that, myself included, I don't think there's a wife of an addict out there that doesn't start out thinking that they can change their husband and they can fix his problems and they can make him want to get better and want to change. And there's probably a lot of guilt heaping and shame tactics used, and those are all subtle forms of manipulation and control. And I think that being married to an addict is probably one of the most helpless places that you can be.
The other thing I was also involved in pretty heavily was reading romance novels, and those gave me almost the perfect scenario of what I was looking for in a man and in a friend, and just created a big fantasy world of what I felt like I never had. And I was really addicted to those, and I read them often, at least 2 or 3 books a week.
A lot of people feel that this isn't really a problem in the church. It's sometimes an issue that we like to gloss over. I tried an online course, which seems a little strange, going online for someone who struggles with internet pornography. Tried an online course, but there was no real accountability there. And I think that's the biggest issue, is you've got to have face-to-face accountability with another man who's going to look you in the eye and say, are we having a problem here?
Well, even such as an early age of 7 and 8, I really felt the pain of being very lonely. And my parents had always told me that being the 5th child, right after twins, that I really was a mistake, and that I was not really supposed to be here. So that pain was loneliness, as well as abandonment, and just feeling like I wasn't wanted.
Men that have had previously had some sort of sexual addiction, primarily in the areas of pornography, that perhaps gave way to such overt activities such as premarital sex or other things, may not find that once they're married that has solved their problem. It's not an issue of more sex with their wife that will stop that. It's an issue of a dark hole in their lives that has been given to the enemy. And until that's exposed, they may not find the freedom that they're desiring and needing. And as long as an individual can keep God out of an area of their lives, then he's not able to be Lord over their lives in all areas, and consequently then there's a lack of health.
There are a lot of men in the church, just like there are a lot of men in society at large, that are dealing with masturbation, fantasy, pornography, other behaviors, whether it's visiting prostitutes, adultery, etc. And the church as a whole hasn't grabbed the horn, so to speak, in dealing with this at all.
The marriage is the foundation for evangelism, for just in general. It's what is the structure of the church. And you've got these couples who are putting on their Sunday face every Sunday, and they're just suffering immensely because the women are stuffing every bit of their pain. They have nowhere to go with it. And the men are in the secret sin. And I think it's crippling our churches. You can't, as a church body, you're all connected together, and if there's sin in the body, then it affects the whole body.
My perception is this unique about life, and that is that historically,